Hola Year 7, welcome to lesson 4 for Spanish in the second summer half term. Today we're focusing on ¿Qué hay en tu ciudad? What is there in your town? Here's a list of the equipment you need for today's lesson. You will need the exercise book that the school gave to you, a pen, 2 different coloured highlighters or pens, your knowledge organiser from module 6 open in a tab, and wordreference.com on a tab as well. These are optional. You can have them open on a window browser. Pause to get that ready now. Please remember to email me if you have any questions about the activities in this lesson, and here's my email address. And please also remember to upload a photo of your translations at the end of the lesson, activities 5 and 6, onto classcharts so I can check your work and award you with an achievement point. Copia la fecha, lunes el 8 de junio, y el título, ¿Qué hay en tu ciudad? What is there in your city or town? Underline the date and the title, and then write down your objective to learn how to say what there is in your town. And a pause to do that now. For your Do Now activity, I would like you to copy the sentences below and translate them into the other language. So 1 and 2, write the Spanish and translate into English. And 3 and 4, write the English and translate into Spanish for me, please. Being really careful to make sure that your adjectives agree with the noun, if it's masculine or feminine. And check your answers now for me. So, número 1, I love my town because it is fun. 2, I like my city because it is quiet. 3, no me gusta el pueblo porque es ruidoso. Make sure you've got a ruidoso, not a ruidosa here, because it's el pueblo, which is masculine. We can tell that because it's got el at the front. It ends in an O, so your adjective should end in an O as well. Y número 4, odio la ciudad ya que no es moderna. Okay, so it's moderna, not moderno, because it's la ciudad, which is feminine. Okay, we know that because of the la. Muy bien, year 7. So I'm going to leave you with Miss Clinton now to teach the lesson. Don't forget to upload your fantastic work at the end of the lesson onto classcharts. Muchas gracias. Adiós.
Okay, on to the new vocabulary for this lesson then, to say what there is in our town. I'd like you to match up the phrases below. Write the Spanish and the English. Pause your video now to do this. Okay, let's go through your answers, and please highlight in 2 different colours as I have your masculine nouns, which of course hopefully you've worked out are in blue and start with un, and your feminine nouns, which are pink and start with una. So as we go through each one, you can highlight those. So, número 1, hay una tienda, there is a shop. Número 2, hay una estación de trenes, there is a train station. Número 3, hay una piscina, there is a swimming pool. Número 4, hay un cine, there is a cinema. Número 5, hay un parque, there is a park. Hay un polideportivo. Número 6, there is a sports centre. Número 7, hay un museo, there is a museum. Número 8, hay un hospital, there is a hospital. Número 9, hay un estadio, there is a stadium. And número 10, hay un centro comercial, there is a shopping centre. So pause your video now if you need to make any changes and to highlight the feminine and masculine words. Okay, now using the same vocabulary, we're now going to do some pronunciation practice. So after I say each phrase, please pause your video and then repeat the phrase 3 times. Número 1. Hay una tienda. Pause your video to repeat this 3 times. Número 2. Hay una estación de trenes. Hay una piscina. Hay un cine. Hay un parque. Hay un polideportivo. This is quite a tricky one, so I'll say that again. Hay un polideportivo. So you're needing to pronounce every single letter there. Pause your video to repeat this 3 times. Hay un museo. Hay un hospital. Hay un estadio. Hay un centro comercial. And again, that one's quite tricky, so I'm just going to repeat that for you. I don't want to hear any commercial. Of course, we have commercial as an English word, although our English word has 2 M's, so be really careful in your spelling. Double check that you haven't written 2 M's for this Spanish spelling. So there's no shalls. I want to hear comercial. Hay un centro comercial. So repeat that one for me, please. Excelente, muy bien. Okay, you're now going to try and memorize that vocabulary, learn the spelling, learn obviously the masculine, the feminine nouns. You need to follow the Quizlet link on class charts, please. It's also there on the screen, and you need to work through, as usual, the learn, write and spell sections, and then you can play some games with the match and gravity, and then finally test yourself for the last couple of minutes. As always, if you're unable to access Quizlet, please spend about 7 minutes doing look, cover, write, check, and then a further 2 to 3, the last couple of minutes, testing yourself. Pause your video now, and then you'll have to return to the lesson after your 10 minutes. Okay, so we're now going to go into the grammar of this lesson, looking at the indefinite article. So listen to the explanation and then copy everything down into your book. So you can have as a subtitle the indefinite article when you come to writing this in a moment. In Spanish, when we want to say what there is in our town, we use this formula. I, to mean there is or there are, plus the indefinite article plus noun, a place in town, as we're focusing on this lesson. So this is exactly the same as we would formula we would use in English. But do remember, there's lots of mistakes always with this verb here, I. It means there is. So you do not need to write is. Lots of students want to say is because they think it just means there. It doesn't. It means there is. And equally, depending on what follows it, it can also mean, if it's followed by a plural noun, there are. Okay, so exactly the same word to say either there is or there are. Really get that into your heads, because this is a really important verb that's going to be used lots and lots in your Spanish careers. Next thing to note, the indefinite article though will change according to the noun that follows it. So let's have a look at the table. For masculine singular words, they're going to use un to mean a or an. For feminine singular, una, again to mean a or an. And for masculine plural nouns, you'll notice there's unos before, and that means some. For feminine plural words, though, it changes to unas, and again that means some. So just to get your head around, there's obviously 2 ways to say a and 2 ways to say some. Remember, if the noun is plural, then we also need to add an S to the end of the noun as well, just like we do in English. So if you look at my example, un museo turns to unos, so un turns to unos, and then museo, we need to add on that S at the end, so I've highlighted that in red for you. Just like we would in English, a museum turns to some museums, and again we've added the S there, as well as changing our indefinite article from a to some. Okay, let's have a look at some other examples. Hay una tienda, there is a shop. We know that tienda is feminine singular now because it ends in an a, and therefore we need the feminine singular article, una. Hay un cine, there is a cinema. Right, cine is actually a masculine singular noun. Although it doesn't end in an O, you just need to learn that it is a masculine word. So it will always have un before it. And tiendas, hay unas tiendas. There are some shops. Here we've made our noun plural. And we know it's feminine already from before. It ends in AS, and therefore our indefinite article also needs to be feminine and plural. Hay unos cines. There are some cinemas. So cinema we already know is masculine. We've added an S there, so it's plural. Therefore our indefinite article also needs to be masculine plural. So pause your video now, to copy everything down into your books. Okay, let's see how well you've learned that grammar, or how well you understand it. So you need to fill in the gaps below with the correct indefinite articles. You're either going to use un, una, unos, or unas, and then you're going to translate the sentence into English. Use the table below if you need to for help. You've also got it in your books. Let's see the first one together. Piscina. So remember, the key to this activity is to look at the noun at the end of the sentence. So here we're looking at piscina. It ends in an A, and we've also known from our notes before that it's a feminine word, so we need to write una, una piscina, which translates as there is a swimming pool. Now have a go at the others by yourself. Pause the video now. Okay, let's go through your answers. We already did number 1. So, número 2. Hay un centro comercial. There is a shopping centre. Now, you know from your notes before that obviously centro ends in a masculine, ends in an O, and so we know it's a masculine singular word. Okay, hay un centro comercial. So you needed to put the un masculine singular article there. Hay unos hospitales. There are some hospitals. Now you know from before that hospital ends in an L, so it's not immediately identifiable that it's masculine. However, you need to learn therefore that it's masculine, and you can see it's plural because of its ES ending. So you should have written in the masculine plural indefinite article, unos. Next one, hay unas tiendas. So you know that tienda is feminine, it's also got an S, so we needed the feminine plural article there, unas. There are some shops. And lastly, hay una estación de trenes. There is a train station. So you know that estación is feminine and singular, and therefore you needed to write una. You should not have thought it plural. Of course, trenes is a plural word, but you're saying the station of trains. So this is the main noun, estación, that you needed to agree the article with. And as a helpful hint for future, remember that any word that ends in theon, like this, will always have an accent on its O, and it will always be a feminine word. Pause your video now if you need to make any changes. And for the last few minutes, please translate the sentences below. Write both the Spanish and the English. Pause your video now to do this. Okay, let's go through your answers. There is a stadium, number 1. Hay un estadio. So you know that estadio is a masculine singular noun, and therefore we need un. Okay, that's shown by the O at the end. There is a train station. Hay una estación de trenes. We said before that it ends in estación ends in a ción, which is always feminine, so we need to add the feminine singular article una. There are some swimming pools, so here we need the plural form and the feminine, because piscina here we know is feminine, and there's the S, so we had to use the plural feminine form of unas. And lastly, there are some sports centres. Hay unos polideportivos. So polideportivo, you know, ends in an O, so it's masculine, and that S shows us it's plural. So we had to use the masculine plural version of the indefinite article. Muy bien. Correct anything you may need to. Pause your video now. And if you do have any extra time for your hour, can you please learn box 3 from your grammar knowledge organiser, please?
Well done, Year 7. Great lesson today. Thank you for all your hard work. Please remember to upload a photo of your work onto ClassCharts when you've completed the lesson. So it can be a photo or it can be a copy of the work. Gracias. Adiós.